Well, guys, we are still technically winding down on the holiday season. It is nearly complete, coming into that little bit of a lull between Christmas Day and New Year's Eve. But the same cannot be said about the geo and socio-political world, as it keeps spinning round and round in utter chaos. So let's talk about it. Yes, guys, what a season it has been for American politics and international politics at large. But specifically, the uncivil war on the conservative right here in America, and, well, let's just say, the Psyop keeps Psyoping. It did not take the holidays off. In fact, it actually ratcheted up quite a bit. So, we're going to start taking a look at some of these different aspects and analyzing what they mean in the overall picture of the Great Awakening of America and of the world. And first up, we have one of my favorite figures, Mr. Ben Shapiro, who has just continued his steep descent into absolute and total irrelevancy. Now, as if it wasn't bad enough, he took the stage at the much ballyhooed Amfest put on by, of course, our friends over at Turning Point USA. Now, bear in mind that this is a very special and specific Amfest at Turning Point, which you probably already know about, but we'll get into in just a couple of minutes. But first, I want to kick the focus back on little Benny and his hurt feelings and his sensitivities that are just irrelevant to the American people now because of what we keep discovering along the way. But that doesn't stop him from trying. No. He's going to take every opportunity that he can get, and even the ones he can't get, which is Amfest, Charlie Kirk's organization at Turning Point USA, who did not really care very much at all for Ben Shapiro. I can almost assuredly say, not for sure, but close, that he never would have given Ben Shapiro a platform on that stage at all at Amfest, let alone the first night speaker, and certainly not with the topics he was talking about, which, of course, was denouncing other conservatives and full censorship of what people can say and what they cannot. And, of course, the cancellation of people who do not believe and thus speak in the way that Ben Shapiro and all of the other Israel First characters as they believe and speak. Mark Levin, you know all the people. So, what did he talk about? Well, he just used his time to go on a 35 minute rant. A rant about Tucker, a rant about Candace Owens, a rant about what they're doing and how they are the poison of the conservative party in America and yada, yada, yada. Just more Ben Shapiro tears. For a man who stresses facts don't care about feelings, he seems to skew a lot of the facts and have a large amount, significant amount, of toxic feelings. Or if you don't want to say toxic, just spewing his feelings out left, right, and center to anyone who wouldn't normally listen had they not paid to get into a community event to hear other people speak. And that's exactly what happened. Now, I'm not going to say that there weren't any cheers and claps. There were a few. But when you're watching a playback video and you can audibly hear through YouTube or socials, whatever it is, the groans and the boos from the crowd at a prominent conservative talking head, well, let's just say it's a new day. Now, of course, this comes after Candace Owens just dropped the absolute FU bomb heard round the political world.
I am done with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world.
And we're going to cover more of her things in a different episode here. But for Ben, He thought he was being slick. He thought he was being inspirational. He thought he was being intelligent, I'm sure. And maybe to some people, he was all or some of those things. And that's fine. I don't mean offense. I'm just speaking about what the collective is reporting back on in the majority of the case, I believe. Now, one of those, of course, is Megyn Kelly, who, in one breath, he goes to call a friend, and in the next breath, basically calls her, is rude to her, and calls her an idiot, essentially, all because she doesn't denounce Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson.
So I resent the whole thing. I object to the whole thing. Ben and I, he had the nerve to call me a friend right before he called me a despicable coward for not calling out the people he once called out.
And Megyn have many, many issues there. Going to do an episode on her as well. But the one thing I do respect her on is that she's not going to sell friends or other conservatives down the river and denounce them and try to cancel them just because Ben Shapiro and Mark Levine and all of these other people think that she should. One of the reasons is Tucker, Candace, those are friends of hers. Those are colleagues of hers in politics. They haven't done anything to her. She doesn't do anything to them. It would be wrong, personally and professionally, to do so. But also, and this is the big one, Megyn Kelly, of course, very staunch conservative, very proud Zionist, I might add, she fully admits, has never shied away from her public disdain of the left. And she considers denouncing and canceling and trying to deplatform people that have a legitimate political voice to be a nasty leftist smear tactic. Now, the left does do this, so she has a point. You know, they are very much the ones who ushered in cancel culture and all of these things. So she has a point, but at the same time, to vehemently, denounce an entire half of the country in what they believe, it's her right to say it. But the thing I respect her for in the saying of it is that she held true to those political principles, whether or not we agree with those or not. She held true to her political beliefs in the face of what would have benefited her professionally and politically. And credit where credit is due. Now, we'll get into other things about her later. But for now, good on her.
So I don't think we are friends anymore. I've been a very good friend to Ben. Nobody knew who the heck Ben Shapiro was when I started putting him on my shows on the Fox News channel. And I helped make him a star. And I've been very, very good to Ben over the years, and he's been good to me too. He just recently came on my tour, as did you, and I gave him the most kind introduction I could possibly give him because I know that he's losing subscribers a lot.
And all of this is, of course, happening on the heels of a rather disastrous podcast episode of Trigonometry that Ben was on just a couple of weeks before, where in conversation about the status of the American economy and younger generations being able to live, to purchase property, to continue lines of their own generation that had immigrated into cities, working often blue-collar jobs, blue-collar neighborhoods. There's a question of affordability and where we're at in this 2025 era coming to a close, where so much uncertainty is hanging over our heads.
If you're a young person and you can't afford to live here, then maybe you should not live here. I mean, that is a real thing. I know that we've now grown up in a society that says that you deserve to live where you grew up, but the reality is that the history of America is almost literally the opposite of that. The history of America is you go to a place where there is opportunity. And if the opportunities are limited here and they're not changing, then you really should try to think about other places where you have better opportunities.
Stats are down in all the wrong ways, and they're high in all the wrong ways. The average age and median income for younger people being able to buy homes and buy property, very high. Should be lower. The percentages that homes have gone up in this housing market, it's 114%.
Millennials' net worth quadrupled from $3.9 trillion to nearly $16 trillion between 2019 and 2024. But more than half report living paycheck to paycheck.
We're actually projecting that about 1 in 4 young adults today will never have kids.
In the early 1980s, as many as 40% of the new homes built were considered entry-level. By 2023, just 9% fit the criteria. The premium paid to buy a home has increased sharply relative to renting over the past decade. The increases in home prices have also outpaced increases in wages. As a result, home sales are down across many markets, and the median age of the typical first-time home buyer has climbed to 38. That's up from age 29 in 1981. The average price of homes has increased rapidly too. Nationwide, home prices have climbed over 52% between January 2020 and October 2024.
The people that are being pushed out of the cities that they've lived and worked in, they've grown up in, their families immigrated into, generations of people have come alive in these immigrant areas, in working class, in blue-collar towns. But not even that. We're looking at New York, we're looking at Los Angeles, and where people, they're not able to buy homes. They're not able to even afford rent in a decent place to raise children, and often in very dangerous and crime and drug-infested areas. He went viral in this clip because his answer to all of these very important problems that we're facing as a country, his answer was, if you can't afford it, then maybe you should just pack up and move to a place you can. And his reasoning behind this is, well, that's been the American story for the past couple of 100 years that we've been here. And this, of course, did not sit well with the American public. And the left, of course, decried it almost immediately. But not only the left, it was also the America First right, who is saying, are you kidding me? Ben Shapiro, the man born in Los Angeles with a silver spoon, is going to look out over Angelinos, people in New York, Chicago, Miami, San Francisco, Houston, our biggest cities, and say, you know what? It doesn't matter if you grew up there. It doesn't matter if your parents, grandparents, it doesn't matter if your great-grandparents immigrated there. It doesn't matter if they survived the Depression there. It doesn't matter if you love the place. You know the neighborhood. You've spilled your blood, sweat, and tears on the streets. You've worked it. You've lived it. You've breathed it. If it's been priced out now because you can't find a job, you can't find a job that's going to pay for your rent that's gone up 4 times what it was just 15 years ago, then move. While he pledges his allegiance to a different country who lives off of the taxpayer's dollar in this country, and they enjoy things like free education and healthcare. And we Americans who are helping to pay for that are suffering, oftentimes without either, and much less. And now we have Ben Shapiro saying, you're not entitled to anything. You shouldn't feel at home in any neighborhood. You shouldn't have a sense of place and value in this country. No, you can't afford to live there anymore because of what has happened in our economy and the powers that be that absolutely degrade and take advantage and flat out rob people blind. It belongs to them. Only the rich now can live in the major cities, and everyone else has to just go elsewhere. Good luck. Make do. And this, of course, is heading into what artificial intelligence may or may not do when so many are going to begin losing their jobs. It's an important moment. Now, of course, all of this in regards to Ben Shapiro, why are we talking about it? Why is this important? Well, it's important not just for the reasons that I just stated, but also it's important because the rejection and the virality of that clip, the rejection of what he said, the booing on the stage at AmFest, his numbers that are actually plummeting with Megyn Kelly calling him out. I platformed him and brought him on tour with me because he is losing droves and droves of subscribers and followers. Candace Owens saying, hey, how long do we have to keep pretending like this guy is relevant? How long do we have to sit here and pretend like he's not spending millions of dollars on advertising to pump up fake numbers on YouTube to make it appear as though he is more popular than what he really is? That answer, of course, is we don't. Not anymore. Because, what's happening is America altogether is finally waking up. Some politically, some spiritually, some financially, but the people are coming together in this great awakening. It is happening. Now, the speed of it and what will be on the other side, we don't yet know. But those of us who have been predicting and looking forward to the grand awakening for years, decades even now, it's starting to happen. It's already started. It started years ago, but we're seeing the signs come out in this year has been like no other. Just like many people predicted. And guess what? We're still in the beginning stages. There's a lot more to come. So, keep your heads up. Keep the eyes open, awake. And know that in your heart, this is not the time to settle, to be pushed down and walked over anymore. It's time. It's past time that we stood up. It's past time that we come together and finally admit to ourselves and to one another that this left versus right and right versus left has been a Psyop scam from day one. Because at the end of the day, we're all the Americans who just want a place to call home. That's it. And a place to love one another. Not to hate each other and be divided. We've seen what happens down that road. We've been there before. We've seen it. We don't have to go back. It's time to wake up. That's why I'm doing this series, and we'll be doing others. So, stick around. Go outside. If you can, be grateful for the home you live in, if it's still a place that you want to live. Raise the head up, keep the eyes open, be of good cheer. And we will keep pushing forward until we have peace, love, and justice for all. Thank you for being here.